Hi and welcome back to Guru Grit. My name is Monica and this is my channel about astrology and spiritual teachings and all kinds of learnings and self-development, mostly self-empowerment. So today we're going to go back to completing the Planetary Power series, and I was in a Venusian mood, so I'm gonna do Venus today, and I'd like to dedicate this video to that wonderful planet because she rules luxuries. And this camera was a bit of a splurge on my part and I quite enjoyed it. And just before I hit that record button, as I went to go uncross my legs, I knocked over the tripod and my beautiful camera, Tangerine, took a violent nosedive into the ground, and it's kind of covered in mud at the moment. So I really hope that this is working because I'm not in the mood to re-record after yesterday's events. So let's begin with, if you'd like to know more, you can find me on TikTok, etc. And there's lots of information in the text box below. But planets, what do they do for you? What do they really do? Let's go beyond the, I mean this very, very nicely, but like lazy interpretations and just regurgitated copy-paste information that you'll find in so many places now because we have access to so much information, but not all of it needs to be consumed. It needs to be filtered sometimes. So let's get into what Venus really does for a person. And then the fun stuff at the end is, what does it mean if it's your spouse? So if you have Venus in the 7th house or your spouse is Venusian and such. So what is Venus? So Venus is the planet. Yes, she rules relationships, but she can do so much for a person. She can bring wealth into your life because she actually rules currency. That's one of the things people don't often realize. She rules luxury and attraction. So she can be a very lazy planet. So one of the lesser known things about Venus is actually Venus is exalted in your chart, sitting in her own sign, Taurus, Libra, or exalted in Pisces. It doesn't just mean that you're gonna oh, there's the cutest squirrel right next to me. Oh my God, it's adorable. Oh, it's bathing or something. Just wiped its face with its own tail. I've never seen that. What a precious Disney moment. Oh my gosh, okay. It was very, very pretty. Well, it's very Venusian to be well groomed and to look nice, so that's perfect. I'll take that omen. So to make decisions is very Venusian as well, to be a good decision maker, because Venus is the planet of value. So speaking of value and valuable things, of course, if she's exalted or strong in your chart, she can bring you healthy relationships and give you a healthy sense of how to be in a relationship. But she can actually make you a pretty decent worker. You can be a hard worker or someone who's smart in how they leverage their energy to get what they want. Like you charge the right thing for your product or your service versus if she's debilitated. So let's get into more of what she is, and I'll explain the difference between exaltation and debilitation. So since Venus rules the corresponding signs that rule value, Libra and Taurus, she can affect a person's ability to make sound choices in their life. They can sell themselves short somehow. If she's, sitting too close to Saturn, she'll be, it's not the worst thing if she's in a sign of Saturn, actually, vice versa, but she kind of becomes depleted of all of her, love of what is rich and indulgent, because Saturn just isn't like that. He's too practical and he can be a little bit hard on her. So I've seen with Venus-Saturn conjunctions, these people, they tend to, sorry, I'm just checking the battery life. I think we're okay, it's not showing up, but here goes. I mean, poor thing did take quite a knock on its head. In any case, people who have to work really hard on their relationships and hard on themselves, because Venus is going to determine how you value you. And she rules the 2nd house, or she associates with the 2nd house because she rules the 2nd sign. So if you have Saturn in the 2nd house or some kind of damaging force there, you should really reevaluate if you do what's best for you in your life. So in terms of debilitation, if she is in Virgo, if she is in Scorpio, if she is in Aries, okay, let's do Aries. Of course, she can be impulsive, she can be a bossy lover, but that's because she needs to feel secure. Because she knows she needs to feel valued. If she's in Scorpio, she needs to feel secure, so she'll try to latch on. So she can be too loyal, to the wrong people. She can be loyal to people who don't treat her well. And if she's in Virgo, then she pretty much sells herself pretty short. But this can be with any debilitation. So let's say if Venus is in Virgo and you need money, instead of waiting 6 months to get a job that pays you $80,000 a year because that's what you're worth, you take a job that pays you $24,000 a year because you're so stressed and you're treated badly, and you know, you work harder than anyone and make less than anyone. You get one paycheck, you don't get two or three, but you put in more work and you let people take advantage of you because you're just so afraid, because you need that security. You require that currency, that value. So then it breeds resentment in the end. So that's important for Venus people to be able to, you know, debilitated Venuses, to say, okay, I'm worth this much and I have to come to terms with that and start charging that and start to feel comfortable with that. Slowly but surely you up your prices, you know, change where you work, or you set boundaries at work. They can also struggle with boundaries if they don't have good self-worth and things like that. But in any case, Venus rules, you know, wonderful things. If you have a well-placed Venus, I would say, you know, in the 9th house, one of the more foolproof ways, aspects considered and everything, you're going to get someone who has luxuries in their lifetime. Okay, material wealth, nice cars, like branded clothes, nice perfumes, all these things that she really adores. And probably too, could be, you know, depending on what's with her, it could come suddenly after marriage as well. You just change your lifestyle, it transforms. So the 9th house can do that. And of course, the obvious one with the 9th house of Venus there is nice vacations and nice trips. You know, you're interested in going to the finest places and lounging by the finest swimming pools, because that's what Venus does. So now if she's in her own sign of Taurus, very, very good for material wealth, again, because Taurus is about attainment. It's a very lazy sign, slow-moving sign, so it can make a person very financially sound. You know, they don't take risks, they don't do impulsive things out of insecurity. In Libra too, I don't associate Libra energy with cheapness. You'd have to look, I kind of feel for Libra sometimes because the neighboring signs both have Venus debilitation, so you'd have to look at, you know, the whole chart. But they are very giving in this sense because they understand the value of things. So if they value you as a friend, then Venus in that sign can be a very giving person, a very open person. And not just in material sense, right? In I give of myself, I give you my time, I give you my presence when you phone me, I think of you, I consider others. Okay, she does well in this sign that has to do with other people and society, which is Libra. So speaking of which, you know, a well-placed Venus in Libra, you can see people be natural diplomats. They can solve your problems. Not in the Virgo sense where maybe they do too much and give too much and they maybe martyr themselves, but they can be good politicians. You know, they can be good principals, schools, fixing social issues, relationship counselors, therapists, of course, so anything to do with other people. And what's really cute too is Venus rules sharing. So the stronger the Venus, you'll see people there, they tend to be good at sharing. And even if she's weak, like in Virgo is a very good example because it's a sign of service. It doesn't know limits. You know, Scorpio knows no limits anyways. They're totally fearless. And Aries is also very brave. So these people can just overgive. It's like a reflex. They just must give. So if you give them, like, my friend said once, you know, you're such a person, if someone lends you a finger, you cut off your arm for them. So it's a bit too much. So you have to make sure every time you give something, you expect the universe to reciprocate. It doesn't have to be that person, but you expect life to reciprocate to you to make your Venus healthier. Now, Pisces, she exalts in Pisces, and this is absolutely perfect definition of exaltation. Venus loves the arts. Venus loves the arts, but she doesn't create the arts. That's what you have to understand. Other planets will do that. And Pisces is imagination, inspiration. It's actually a very creative sign, very underrated for I mean, some of the best musicians have incredible Pisces energy. People in the spotlight that are just like beautiful and in tune with this like higher inspirational frequency. So check their Venuses. So Venus is going to rule things like refined art in Pisces, okay? Ballet, classical dance, world dances, folk music, and art. You know, like I always imagine like those velvet oil paintings or like a Tudor cottage with just like gorgeous jewels everywhere and like priceless books and things like that. Museums, art galleries, going to galas and fundraisers, very like schmancy, you know, elite kind of things. This is very Venusian. So to get there, people tend to work quite hard. And they don't fear it because they just understand value. They just think, okay, I have this energy, I have this skill, I have this talent. I'll give you this if you give me that. And they just kind of expect it. And they tend to do quite well. So let's get into one other thing, and then we'll segue into spouses, which is quite nice. So Venus rules sugar because she's indulgent. So you'll see people, whether they have a strong Venus or a weak Venus, they can tip towards their love of food. And I really love Taurus energy for this because I associate Taurus with all the senses. They are the first earth sign and they've come to taste everything. So if you have, if you look at your Venus, you can kind of decipher what that person would find very impressive. But, let's say it is Venus in Taurus or an earth sign, let's just say any earth sign, you would want, nice music, like a nice instrumental jazz, and a candlelit room, and something indulgent for their taste buds, probably like heavy cream sauces with chocolate truffles, and then a second dessert, and then the best wine. So that's like what Venus is like a charming little bistro, basically. And you've come there to smell beautiful things, smell beautiful yourself, look your best. So how do you honor Venus if she's weak? You look your best. You never save your best for a special occasion. Every day is a reason to dress your best, look your best, feel your best, and treat yourself. So nothing out of control, because it can cause sugar imbalances and other imbalances in the body. She actually has a lot to do with fertility, both male and female. She rules the ovum and she rules the sperm. But let's just keep it light and say, Fridays. She associates with Fridays. So I have a debilitated Venus and I'm obsessed with food. I'm a food obsessive. It's the last thing I think about when I go to bed, what I'm gonna eat in the morning. And in the morning, I start thinking about what I'm gonna make for dinner. And it just makes me so happy, the whole process of how it grows and how it looks, and everything is so unique. And so what you can do is on Fridays, wear white. She rules the color white, or something patterned and colorful, which I love. I wear perfume, I try to look nice, and then because it's feminine energy and something that I have to work on, I tend to take my nieces out most Fridays. That way I give my sister a break, who's a woman. My nieces are little women. I do something nice with them. I always end the day with a cupcake for them and myself. And, we just have fun. We do something creative. I go around the city taking pictures. We used to go to the art gallery every week. Like without fail, we would go and do crafts and walk around and look at paintings, have something to eat somewhere. So think of those ways you can honor the feminine in you, okay? Regardless of your exterior, everybody has both energies. So think about what is your version of the best in the earthly material sense, and then think of how you can incorporate that into your day. So Friday's a good day to do that. Now, spouse. So speaking of food, one of the things is if Venus is in your 7th house, your spousal indicator, like all these Venusian energies, you're probably going to attract someone who loves food or can cook or all of the above and has a sweet tooth. So I said my Venus is debilitated and she's the planet of indulgence and attraction and all this. And my friend one time said, it's weird. Actually, to come to think of it, Monika doesn't have a vice. She doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke, she da-da-da. And my other friend was like, I would kill to have your willpower. I would kill to have your willpower. And I thought, I am willful, but my vice just isn't that outrageous. I cannot resist sugar. I have a sweet tooth like nothing else. I have like a sugar addiction. It's not good. And I've done fasts. I did 13 liver fasts for 13 months straight in my mid-20s. And let me tell you, the first 6 to 12 hours without sugar, I swear to God, I was delirious. So you have to look out for your Venus. If she's in really bad shape, you want to do everything in moderation. Stick to natural sugars like dates or figs in moderation because they're still pretty sweet. But you can attract a spouse like that who loves sweet things. They love to, all my favorite smells are sweet smells. I don't care for floral, nothing, unless it's lavender. Vanilla, like baking, everything should smell like a food. All my candles, all my perfumes, they smell like food. So you'll attract someone who can cook, loves a nice home environment. So just like the lunar spouse is going to be a spouse that likes a nice home, and so is a Venusian spouse, right? They'll probably want fresh flowers, the lights on, smells of cooking wafting when they come home, something pretty to look at. You don't have to be rich, but Venus rules taste. This is why in synastry, Venus is nice. Because if you have similar tastes to your spouse, and most of a relationship is like a friendship and a companionship, if you have similar tastes, like if you both like, spooky stuff or thrillers, well then choosing something to watch most days of the week is easy. Or listening music when you're driving on road trips, that's easy. The fact that you want to go on road trips, that's easy. So you want to put life on easy mode and see if your Venuses can vibe. Because she rules taste, you're not going to clash maybe over important things. And you might think that's ridiculous. Home decor is not an important value in a relationship. But if Venus rules values and that is valuable to you, no one can judge that. I can't judge that. That's important to you. So if having nice material things is a core tenet of what makes a good relationship for you, then it's best to see if your Venuses match up, because not like conjunct, but if they vibe well with each other, because then as a couple you can work toward that lifestyle. As a couple you can work toward a lifestyle of hard work or relaxation or both or whatever, okay? So what are your values? So, of course, Venusian spouse is going to be someone who's highly attractive, because that's what she rules, beauty. So male or female, you're going to get someone who turns heads, right? So yeah, if it's in the chart of a woman and you want to marry a man, then it could be a man who has, female relatives, siblings, works in a female dominant environment, has a lot of female friends or something like that. Or just, I always think of something like, I don't know, like most hair care products for women were started by like male hairdressers, so maybe he has like an empire or a business in something that's generally what women consume, okay? So like maybe fashion or beauty or even food, even, a restaurateur or something like that. So Venus does rule healers as well, so it could be like nursing, of course diplomacy is another one, and depending on the sign, it could show someone who's good with money, finances, law, etc. So generally, I'm saving the best for last, but the best thing about a Venusian spouse, so if Venus is strongly indicative in your chart that you're going to marry someone Venusian, you as the native, first of all, are inclined towards relationships. So people who have this type of Venus, they are just able to navigate the landscape of relationships. They're just kind of born knowing better than, like I was born clueless, I'm still mostly clueless to this day, but I try, still I try. But if your Venus is well placed or she's influencing your 7th house, then you can kind of make it work with anyone. You're just sort of that person. And you're going to attract someone that's quite harmonious to you as well. So Venus does rule sharing, so you'll tend to attract someone who blends their life with you and who's also well versed in relationships like you. And Venus is going to show a devoted spouse, so quite romantic. Now, Venus in Pisces is very strong, but one of the things that needs to be learned when a planet is too strong is balance, because Venus in Pisces shows devotional love, like where you lose yourself in somebody and you really just give completely. So you want to make sure that you receive in turn. So if you have a very, powerful Venus, or this Venusian energy is just off the charts, it's like vibrating very, very high in your birth chart, you want to make sure that you exercise, some logic and strategy when you choose on a mate in your lifetime, that you choose both with the head and the heart, because you can love them a lot today, but 10 years from now, you also want to make sure you're on the same page about very practical things, so you can enjoy your earthly existence, which is what Venus loves above all else, to enjoy, our physical reality. So go forth and make a good decision, just as Venus would have you do. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're enjoying this series. I've got a few planets left. I'm very excited to get into those. And you can find me on TikTok. You can email me, ask me questions, let me know what you think, and read the text below. There's lots of information, and so I'm going to go make one now about Jupiter. So until then, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Ah, so a wasp just landed on the lens. All my animal friends are coming out today.